Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Saṅgham saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dutiyampi saṅgham saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Tatiyampi saṅgham saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. To observe the 5 precepts, say after me. I observe the precept of abstaining from killing beings. I observe the precept of abstaining from stealing. I observe the precept of abstaining from sexual misconduct. I observe the precept of abstaining from telling lies. I observe the precept of abstaining from taking intoxicating drinks and drugs. I follow these precepts for happiness in this life, for rebirth in heaven, and to realize the Four Noble Truths. In this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear devotees, among all the human beings in this world, do you think, when you think of all the human beings in this world, do you think people take about 10-15 minutes to think like this? To wish for the happiness of all the living beings in this world? Do people take spare time to think and wish for the happiness of many beings in the world? It's very rarely if a person does that. So among all those people, among all the people in this world, right now, all of us, we can be considered as the unique people who did something rare in this world, who did something unique that is benefiting one's life and benefiting many other living beings in this world and all the worlds. So I hope you remember I told you a story at the beginning of the meditation. There was one monk who wanted to leave the forest after the rains retreat. So then all the other non-human beings, they started crying. Then he thought of staying back in the same forest until the next rains retreat. So after the next year's rains retreat was over, again when this monk wanted to leave the forest, again the non-human beings cried. So like that, in each and every rains retreat, when that Arahant wanted to leave, all the non-human beings cried. So then that Arahant, until he passed away, until he attained the Maha Parinibbana, that Arahant remained in that forest for the benefit of many beings. They were non-human beings. So if the great Arahants dedicated their lives for the benefit of non-human beings, think about human beings who are practicing this path, how much we could dedicate our lives. So we should follow the lives of great Arahants. If Arahants dedicated their lives like that, we should follow the great lives of Arahants. And if Arahants dedicated their lives throughout their lifetime in a forest like that, without going to the city, without expecting meals from kings and ministers, living a life in a forest, depending with less needs, we should also follow those great lives of Arahants and practice at least 1% of that. At least 15 minutes a day. At least take 15 minutes from your day. At least 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, 5 minutes in the evening, just to dedicate, to spread loving kindness, to wish for the happiness of others. Then gradually increase that. Then throughout the day, whenever you get a time, whenever you get a chance, think for the happiness of many beings. So that is the meditation for today. So today for the sermon, I decided to teach you all about feelings. Now, we always tell others, don't play with people's lives, don't play with people's heart feelings, don't harm others, don't give sadness to others. That means we always expect happiness. We always love to experience happiness and peace. So we always like to feel good things. We always like to feel comfortable. So what did Buddha taught about feelings for us? Today we are going to learn a wonderful sermon, a wonderful Dhamma from a sutta called Maha Nidāna Sutta from Digha Nikaya, from the book of Digha Nikaya, from the lengthy discourses from the second book. The name of the sutta is Maha Nidāna Sutta. Since I have been doing about the Maha Sattipatana Sutta, I finished the Kaya Anupassana, and now it's the time for us to learn about feelings. So now, when we feel things, when we feel pleasant things, what happens to us? Now think, first one, we feel pleasant feelings, don't we? We feel pleasant feelings. Then don't we feel unpleasant feelings? Yes, we feel unpleasant feelings. Then we feel neither pleasant, neither unpleasant feelings. Now when you look at a tree or a bench or a street light, no pleasant feelings, no unpleasant feeling, but neutral. So, but then he's descended to that form. He clung to that form even if it is a tree. So the lives of great Arahants, they see things but they are unattached to what they see. Now imagine once Arahant Moggallana, when he was going in a secluded area, he met a beautiful woman. And that woman praised Arahant Moggallana, and that woman tried to seduce Arahant Moggallana. So then what Arahant Moggallana asked was, Are you trying to do paintings in the space? Then Arahant Moggallana told the reality of the body to that woman. Finally, that woman became Arahant, decided to become a nun. She was a prostitute. Then once a daughter was brought to the Buddha. A daughter was brought to the Buddha, proposing their mother and father, that the girl's name was Magandhya. That Magandhya's mother and father wanted that girl to get married to the Buddha. They didn't know that it was a Buddha. They thought it's a human being, but beautiful. The Blessed One has 32 signs, special marks. So then when Magandhya was brought to the Buddha, the father said, look at this beautiful girl. We are happy to give this girl to you for you to get married. We propose this beautiful girl to you. And then the Blessed One said, look, what I understand about the body, what I understand about this body is like a pot, maybe a golden pot that is carved nicely, a golden pot that is filled with excrement. What Blessed One understood about this body is a body like a golden pot, a pot made out of gold but filled with excrement. So when Buddha was able to see this body like that, Buddha, he did not get attached to that body because his mind was developed in a way to think like that. Same with the great Arahants. But when we see these bodies that are disgusting, we outside also we see as golden, inside also we see as gold. Then what happens? We can't sleep properly even. Daytime, if we see something beautiful, in the night also we think about that. Then people can't sleep. Then the moment a person wakes up, again start thinking about that beautiful sign. Then will he be able to be successful in his day-to-day activities at least? No. Why? Not seeing things in a way that people should see things. So when people feel pleasant things through eyes, what happens? Well, that's the question now. What happens? What happens when people see pleasant things from their eyes? That is a question. What happens when people experience, when people hear pleasant things through their ears, from their ears? That is a question mark. What happens when people smell through their nose? Pleasant things, when they experience pleasant things. Unpleasant things, neither pleasant, neither unpleasant. What happens? It's a question mark. Buddha gave answers for that. So Buddha gave answers for that. Buddha said, dear bhikkhus, one day Blessed One addressed Venerable Ananda and said, Dear Ananda, feeling is a condition for craving. Feeling is a condition for craving. That is what I said, and this is the way to understand how this is so. Ananda supposed there were totally and utterly no feeling for anyone anywhere. That is feeling born, contact through the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. When there is no feeling at all, with the cessation of feeling, would craving still be found? When there is no feelings, no craving. Now here no feeling means, don't think that we don't feel anything from your eyes, or we don't feel anything from your nose. It's just that we feel things from our eyes, ears, nose, but then we feel things with a realized mind. And with a mind without ignorance, without avijja, that means we feel things by knowing the Four Noble Truths, with a mind that is fully realized the Four Noble Truths. Then we don't crave for things. And then after that person who has developed the mind, after that person who have become Arahant, after that great Arahant passes away, after that great Arahant attained the Maha Parinibbana, they are not reborn. So feelings are totally abandoned. So here when you learn suttas, if you hear a sentence saying that feelings are totally abandoned, that means uh, the feeling things with an undeveloped mind, feeling things with ignorance, feeling things without knowing the Four Noble Truths is abandoned. So then Venerable Ananda says, no he tang bante, Swamini, Blessed One, no bante, it won't. When with the cessation of feeling, craving would not be found. So how can we abandon feeling now? How can we abandon craving? So to abandon craving, we should abandon feelings. Then Buddha preaches, Venerable Ananda, craving arises because of this. It's the source and the origin of craving, and is the condition of craving, that is feeling. Then Buddha preaches, Itiko panetang ananda vedanang paticca tanha. Itiko panetang ananda vedanang paticca tanha. What is now? This is Pali. What's the meaning of this? The Blessed One preaches, so it is Ananda, that feeling is the cause for craving. Feeling is the cause for craving. Then Buddha preaches, Tanhang paticca pariyesanang. Tanhang paticca pariyesanang. Because of craving we search. Now we feel something from our eyes. Then what happens? We crave for that. What happens then? Because of craving we search for things. We search. Now after we crave for something, we need that. We search for it again and again. Doesn't that happen? So this process we should learn and we should remember by heart. And after we feel something, we should not let this process to happen. Now see how this process ends. Then Buddha preaches, because of craving we search, then pariyesanang paticca labho. What happens? Because of searching, we gain. We look for things and somehow or other we get it. We get it. Now imagine a vehicle or a car or a job. We get it. Now we struggle to get a job. After we get a job, we struggle to survive and to work with the people at the working place. Now see how human beings are struggling. Do you like to come back to a sansara like this again and again? First we struggle to get a good education, then we struggle to get a job, then we struggle to survive at the working place, to work in harmony with others, and then we struggle, then we earn, after we find a job, then we think, okay, now I'm financially stable, then people get married, then they struggle to find a partner, and then they struggle to survive with that partner. It's not easy. It's not easy to survive with a basic knowledge of just knowing to calculate and just knowing to handle people. That is not enough. We should know the deep teachings of the Supreme Buddha. People, they dream about a marriage life, but they don't know about the dangers of a marriage life. So that's why the great disciples in the Buddha's time, they thought about a monk life and they thought of a marriage life as well. But when they thought of a marriage life, there's some happiness, but there's huge suffering behind that happiness. We are only thinking only one side of the life, only one part of the life. That is what? We only think of gratification. We don't think the danger. Remember, as human beings, please memorize these things. Write this at the door when you go out and when you come in your room. Think the gratification, danger and escape. 3 things should be considered as a human being. When you see something, when you hear something, when you smell, when you taste, when you feel, when you think. If you are thinking again and again something, think the gratification of that, think the danger of thinking that thought again and think the escape. If it is a danger, try to escape from that danger. If there's a little bit of the gratification, try to escape from that gratification too. Think the gratification of the jhanas. Think the gratification of detachment. Imagine if you are not attached to, imagine if you are attached to 100 things. 100 things are go 50 things go wrong. 50 things breaks. 50 things get perished. How many sufferings? 50 sufferings. Imagine you are unattached to 100 things. You have 100 things. You have 100 things around you, but you are unattached to them. Even if those things changes, mentally you are stable. You don't get panic. You don't panic. You live peacefully, like a lotus leaf that is unattached by water. Like wind blowing through a net. When wind blows through a net, that wind does not get stuck in that net. Our life is like pouring oil to sand. Sand will get covered with oil all over the place. It's very difficult to remove that oil later on. It's like pouring water to a sponge. Our teacher explained these similes for us to understand the nature of our undeveloped mind. To understand the nature of our undeveloped mind. So then, we should understand these things. Because of searching, we gain. Then, because of gaining, there is judgment on what is gained. After we gain something, okay, this is beautiful, this is nice. If you are unhappy, you remove them. Then, because of gaining, labham paticca viniccayo. Because of gaining, there is judgment on what is gained. Then, vinicchayang paticca chandarago. Because of judgment, we attach. See, because of judgment, we attach. Now think, okay, that boy is bad, but this boy is good. That girl or that girl's hair is beautiful, but this girl's, her voice is nice. Previous girl hair is beautiful, but the voice is not good. Even this girl is dark, but the voice is good. So, or else she's ugly, but then she's very wealthy, very rich. Maybe ugly, but then she's like a mother, like a sister. So then a girl would think, okay, even that boy is ugly, that person is rich. We judge. Then what happens? We get attached. You can think of the other good deeds. You can, okay, when you get married, you have to consider these things, whether that person is beautiful or whether he can support me. But then don't get attached to those things. Why? Even that beauty is impermanent. Even if that person's wealth, if you think of a person's wealth and get married, remember that wealth is not eternal. That wealth is also impermanent. The wealth that he has today might change tomorrow. Do you think these things? Now, the great wise people who lived in the past, they understood these things. That's why they thought, even right now, if I get married to a rich person or to a beautiful girl, later on that beauty will fade away. Later on, if a girl wanted to get married to a boy, even to a king, even the king would lose the kingship. Even a king would lose the kingship. And then they decided to become nuns. Why fall in trouble? Because we cling to the things that people have in the present. We cling to the things that people have in the present. But remember, there is a future that we will have to go through. There's a future. All of us, there's a future. But future is unpredictable. So for us to have assurance for the future, we should gain merit. We should do good deeds. Then only our future will be protected. So if you like to protect your future, do wholesome deeds while you are accumulating wealth and doing good deeds. If not, imagine what would happen to us. So because of judgment, we attach. Then Buddha preaches, Chandaragang paticca ajjosanam. That means because of attaching, the mind gets the impression of mine. Now after you attach to something, the mind thinks that's it's me, it's mine. It's me, it's mine. The mind will start thinking that it belongs to me. Now see what happens when you think it's mine. Then if someone else like that, imagine you have a vehicle and then someone is jealous of that. Imagine You're working for a company, someone is talking bad about that company. Imagine you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or your child. Then someone is criticizing your loved ones. Someone is talking bad about your loved ones. Or else someone that you really love, someone else love that person. Then how do you feel? So that's why Buddha said in Dhammapada there's a stanza, affection arises fear. Affection, love arises fear. Love arises sorrow. That's why the great disciples who lived in the past, the wise people, they became monks and nuns. That's a safe place. So others who can't become monks and nuns, what should they do? They should know the true nature of love, the true nature of attachment, and living a lay life by understanding the dangers. They should be able to practice patience and live. No other solution. What to do? So, because the mind gets impression of mind, ajjosanang paticca pariggaho. Ajjosanang paticca pariggaho. Because of the mind gets the impression of mind, the mind makes it its own. He says, no, his mind, this is mine, don't touch this, this is mine. Some people, if someone takes something from their food plate, they get angry. If some leaves from the neighbor's house, from a tree, from the neighbor's house, if a small branch fall to for the other person's garden, they get angry. Just to give a small piece of the land to the main road, people fight as if they are using those lands for 300 years. Some people fight for their lands and end up in the prison for like 70, 80 years. Why? They fight for lands and they kill each other. And because of a land, they fight and they lose their loved ones, they lose their children and end up in a prison. This is what happened to people who are not knowing about what's happening when they feel things without knowing the Four Noble Truths. Now see what happens after you feel something. See the process. Were we aware of these things? Were we aware of these things? Were we aware of these things? No. Luckily we were born in a time where a Buddha was born. See how fortunate, see how Buddha understands things, the process go through after you feel something. Then what happens? Because of making it its own, stinginess arises. See what happens. So before that, ajjosanang paticca pariggaho. Because the mind gets the impression of mind, the mind makes it its own. What happens next? Pariggahang paticca maccariyang. What happens then? Because of making it its own, stinginess arises. Then you become greedy. You become stingy. Then you won't let others to take your belongings. All these things happen not because of objects. Remember, not because of external things, not because of your houses, not because of your friends, not because of your children, not because of your loved ones, not because of your friends, not because of your husbands, not because of your wives. It's all because of feeling things in a wrong way. Feeling things in a wrong way. Remember, stinginess arises, feeling things in a wrong way. When you feel things in a right way, by knowing that whatever you feel are impermanent, are not under your control. If you understand, like Buddha understood this body like a pot that is filled with excrement. If you understand this life is impermanent, your life is impermanent, other people's lives are impermanent, what you see in the present will not exist in the future. Now we dream for the future by seeing things what we see in the present. Don't we dream on the future for the things what we see in the present? We dream. But imagine, will the things remain in the same way as we see in the present? No, we are living in a dream world. That's why, remember, again I'm reminding you all, think the gratification, consider the danger and the escape. 3 things. If not, we can't find a way to escape and live. We can't find a way to escape from this suffering. We won't be able to live happily without considering these factors and understanding the Buddha's teachings. And to understand the Buddha's teachings. We won't be able to understand the Buddha's teachings if we dedicate our lives. If we are unable to understand the Buddha's teachings, see what will happen to a person after he feels something. Out of jokes. Then Buddha preaches, Maccharyam paticca arakko. Because of stinginess, we protect it. Now see, after we gain something, we struggle to protect it. We struggle to protect it. Now see, as a monk, he can open the doors. He can just keep the doors open and leave. If a monk, now imagine a monk, he has the alms bowl, the 3 robes, nothing else, nothing to protect. But when you consider a layperson have a lot of belongings. So because of stinginess, they have to protect them. A human being should protect, but if they lose any time, if thieves or someone take their belongings, they should not have any alteration in their mind. They should have the same mind as if they were having those, while they were having those belongings. Even after losing them, they should have the same mind. Why? We might accumulate a bad karma even after losing those belongings. Now see, after we lose something what we really have, after we lose something that we had, we have already lost what we had, any valuables. Now after losing the valuables, what we do, we get angry with the people who steal that or take that away from us. Maybe your wife, you might get divorced, and then your wife might get married to another person. So you might get angry with your wife, and you might get angry with the other man as well. So what happens now after losing someone? You are again, what happens? You are accumulating a karma afterwards. By getting angry at other people, you are accumulating a bad karma by getting angry at other people. Now see, even after losing something, you are accumulating something bad for your life. So after losing something, why should we accumulate another bad karma on top of that? On top of what we have lost in life, we are accumulating a bad karma. Why should we live such a life? After you lose something, give up the bad karma and maintain a pleasant mind after losing something also. Why? Don't accept a bad karma for your life. That bad karma will again take you to another birth. And again bring enemies to your lives. This was realized only by a Buddha. That's why we are preaching these things. Even I'm fortunate to share these teachings with you all. You all are also fortunate to hear this Dhamma. Because of stinginess, we protect it. Then what happens? See the last thing what happens. Tuang pesunya musavada aneke papaka akusala dhamma sambhavanti. What is the meaning of this? By struggling to protect things. So when you struggle to protect your belongings, what happens? Weapons and rods are taken to hands. Disputes, arguments, fights, accusing by telling it's you who put me in the trouble. It's you who put me in trouble. Divisive speech, lies, and other unwholesome deeds arises. Now see, when you try to protect things, what happens? Mass of all the bad karma will take place. Now from where does this start? From where did this start? From feelings. So you protect things because of you fight for things because you try to protect things. You protect things because of stinginess. Because of stinginess arises because of making things on your own. You make things on your own because of you have the impression that it's mine. You have the impression it's mine because of getting attached. And then you get attached because of judgments. Then judgment is because of gaining. Then gain because of searching. Then we search because of craving. Craving is because of feelings. See the Buddha's marvelous realization about feelings. So therefore, dear Dhamma friends, we should be mindful when we feel things. So now there is another sutta called Viyaggappajja Sutta. There, a layperson should protect his belongings. He should not just, now imagine if there's a son. Imagine your parents work hard and earn money. And then in the daytime, they might go to work. And if you're at home alone, if you're also going outside, you should lock the doors and go. So you should protect your belongings. But then with a detached mind. With a detached mind, you should protect your belongings, not with an attached mind. You should understand. Therefore, dear Dhamma friends, we learn about feelings today. The process that happens after you feel something with an undeveloped mind. And also, if you feel things with a developed mind, all these things, that fighting, quarreling, stinginess, then searching for things, gaining, and then judgment, all these things, then fighting, quarreling, arguments, all these arguments will be totally abandoned. So today from the Maha Sattipatana Sutta, from the section of feelings, I just wanted to do an introduction about feelings from the Maha Nidāna Sutta before I go for the explanation of the feelings in the Maha Sattipatana Sutta. In detail, I wanted to give you a basic idea and introduction for feelings today. So even anyone at home or at the working place or among your relatives, with the neighbors, with your relatives, if you can practice these things, if you can be aware of the feelings, and if you can live mindfully, you can abandon a lot of troubles in your lives and live happily. So today from this sermon, I bless everyone. May you have the opportunity to feel things in a right way and overcome and avoid miserable states in life, avoid troubles that you experience. Troubles means the troubles that you suffer mentally. So may you have the opportunity to overcome all the problems that you go through because of feelings that is felt with a undeveloped mind. So may you have the opportunity to develop your mind to a great extent and feel things with a developed mind and overcome unnecessary troubles and realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya. Tiruvān Saranai.
Namo Buddhaya. I learned from monks in the morning that whatever treasure in this world or in any other world, or whatever precious jewel in the heaven, none is equal to the Supreme Buddha. Because within the Supreme Buddha is this precious jewel. Something always keeps coming. Viruses will come, this will come, that will come. But how we handle it is left to us. So let us handle it mindfully. And one of the best ways you can do this is by listening to monks in the morning and learning the Supreme Buddha's teachings. Namo Buddhaya.